Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 horror film Sacrilege, a film that is written and directed by David Creed, and it stars Tamaran Payne, Emily Wyatt, Sean Abrahams and Naomi Willow. Now the film focuses on four female friends who decide to get away for the weekend into the countryside. And the location that they choose is this rural UK setting. They kind of rent this cottage, get there, and they are invited to a local pagan festival. They enjoy the celebrations, but as it turns out, there may be more sinister things at play, and which will end up with them each having to face their own inner fears. Right. What are my thoughts on Sacrilege? Well, actually, while this is a low budget horror film, I think the production values here are pretty good and fairly strong. I thought there was some really quite nice cinematography going on, and there's some very, very competent direction as well. The performances by the four girls, the four lead actresses, are all absolutely fine, and there's nobody here that stands out in regards to a poor performance. Everybody gives here what you would expect in regards to a good performance. So no issues there. I think the production values, like I say, are pretty good. Good sound design, a good music score, good cinematography, good direction, and good performances. I think where this film falls down to some degree is its plodding pace, somewhat predictable plot, a little bit, and its insistence on indulging itself in horror tropes, I suppose. And by that I mean you get like scenes of women half naked, swimming in a pool at night, a swimming pool outside at night. You get your usual unnecessary jump scares here, and I think the jump scares are here in this film mainly due, as I've mentioned, to the plodding pace. It's quite slow paced, this film. Actually, the good thing about it, you don't particularly notice straight away. It's about halfway through you kind of think, well, there's not a great deal happened as yet, and time's running away with the film, if you like. But they try and break up this slow pace with really predictable and unnecessary jump scares that cheapen films. Regardless of the budget, it cheapens films. Whether it's a Conjuring universe film or a low budget UK based horror film like this, it cheapens the film. They don't need it. I don't think they needed it anyway. For me as well, the film, it borrows heavily from others. Obviously you're going to make comparisons to things like the Wicker Man here, and that's a fair comparison. There's another film that I saw last year, a low-budget, independent, pagan horror film, you could call it, Thedroving, and it reminded me of that too, in many ways, even though the story was slightly different, but the setting and theme were very, very similar. And these women are all like made to face their fears in this film. For example, one of them is scared of dogs, one of them is scared of bugs, and one of them is scared of a former partner or boyfriend who beat her into a coma at one point in their relationship. So she has a genuine fear, obviously, of that person. And so when they go to this festival, they have to kind of write down what their fear is, and then they chuck it in a fire. So they're then forced to face their fears, but you never really learn, not really much about this pagan cult. What is their end game? What are they wanting? What are they doing? Why are they making these girls face their fear? What's the ultimate goal? And the only conclusion you really come to is, human sacrifice, probably, but it just seems a little bit trite and dull, and the ending was a little bit of an anticlimax. With these cult participants or members or whatever you want to call them. They don't do anything and barely say anything. And I would have liked to have learnt more about, this place they're at, this local area, what this, cult is all about, what this pagan god is all about that they're worshipping, and what's it all about, why are they doing this to these unsuspecting people. And it doesn't, it just focuses on the usual kind of tropes, which is a shame. So you don't get an awful lot for great chunks of the film, and then the last 15-20 minutes go a little bit of a breakneck speed. But yeah, I have to say I wasn't enamoured that so much with the film, but it was definitely watchable throughout. It held my attention, and that is a strength of, like I say, the performances of all the actresses involved, and they're the main participants here. You do get some other people appearing in the film, but very few of them have speaking lines. So it's definitely a watchable, like, pagan horror film, and if that's your sort of thing, then there's probably quite a lot here to enjoy. But I think they have done the best to put the budget on the screen. I'm going to give this one a 5.5 out of 10. I thought it was just slightly above average, certainly watchable, but it does definitely dip its toes in the old tried and tested horror tropes. Yep, so that is my review for Sacrilege. I hope you liked it. I hope you found it useful. Thanks for watching, everybody. And of course I will be back with more reviews and content on Screen Stars very, very soon.